Hello and welcome to this mini training regarding hypnotic testing. This is a very basic introductory training with regards to how to use something like hypnotic testing into your sessions, in particular at the end of your sessions. Now, why would you want to do this? This is actually really important because this is how you know that your client problem has resolved at the end of your session. And no, you do not do this at the end of your 6 week, 12-week package. You start the testing process in every single session. So whether it be your very, very first session with your client, you gotta do this shit. Why? Because if you do not test your clients in the session, the real world will. They will experience stressors in their real life. It is inevitable. So by testing them within the session, you can not only see the fact that the client's problem has resolved, which is yay for you and good for your own peace of mind, but at the same time, the client will know that the problem is resolved, which is very, very important. It sets you up as a higher authority already in their minds, which is awesome. Having made progress, leaps of progress, heaps of progress in the first session. But most importantly, you get to put resiliency and robustness in their breakthrough in as easy and as little as your very first session. That's why it's so important. And it's crazy that hypnosis schools do not teach this. So this is an introductory. In this training, what you'll find is you can see here, I have a demo. These things are taught in demo if you really truly want to learn it effectively. And so this is how we teach it inside our hypnotic questioning trainings. But what you'll see in this demo is the first part. You will see a clip of Deb here as our client talking about not being able to leave food on the plate. Her presenting problem was overeating and not being able to leave food on the plate. So she will talk about it in the first part of this clip here when she still has the problem. And you can see the difference, notice the difference before. So the clip before is going to happen, and then we're going to pause it and fast forward to the end when testing happens. And so in very particularly and specifically, what we're testing here is a situation. So there are three types of testing. The first one is situational, and it stands for exactly what it's called. You will test the situation as to where the problem occurs. So you will get an example of this. It's better to see with an example, which you will find now. And this testing question happens at the end, so after the breakthrough. And I'll talk about this more. So let's just begin. This is an example. I'm going to explain things again moving forward. And let's go.
Husband says, well, if you're full, just stop. You can always put it away for later, like put it in the fridge if you can't bring yourself to throw it out. And I'm like, well, there's barely a mouthful left, like I might as well just shovel it in. Yeah, I can't see it just left on the plate. Certainly not to go in the bin. Certainly not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't go into the bin.
No, that's a definite waste. Yeah.
Definitely a waste if it goes into the bin.
Yeah.
Right. So you heard her talk about her problem as she's experiencing it. And if you have, not sure if you've noticed, but definitely play it back, just how she said, definitely not, certainly not going in the bin. That is a waste. Very much resistant to the concept of throwing food away. Okay. Notice that because that was a big problem for her. And again, like I mentioned, we're going to fast forward. There were 30 minutes of amazing breakthroughs within the session. And she definitely had a breakthrough that had nothing to do with food, nothing to do with emotional eating, nothing to do with any of that. This is real root cause investigation. So when she had her breakthrough, which was very unexpected for all of us, very unusual for us to notice, which is awesome. And this is exactly what happens inside of her hypnotic questioning sessions. You see her, you just saw her from the beginning. She had the breakthrough during this time. And then let us see the next question, which is a testing question that Stephen, the hypnotist who was brilliantly asking questions, listen to the question he asks, because this is an example of a hypnotic testing question that you can use for any presenting problem.
If the next time you have food on your plate and you're feeling full, what are you going to do?
So as I mentioned before, we test situations, and this is exactly the situation that she gave us earlier. If you're full and there's still food on your plate, what are you going to do then? Remember at the beginning of this clip, she was like, even my husband says to just throw it away. And she was like, no, I'm going to eat all the scraps. It definitely is not going to go in the bin. That was her before. 30 minutes later, this is her answer.
Good.
I'm going to stop, put whatever's left in a container, or offer it to my husband, or there's something left there. Still can't throw it in the bin just yet. Yep, still, but I can just make the decision just to throw it in a container. That feels quite strong. And you know what? If I don't come back to it in the container, well, at some point it's going to go in the bin, right? So we'll get there in its own way.
That was a great example of a problem resolved. This is as simple as can be. You saw the difference. It was like she's a different person now. At the end, she had a little bit of resistance, which we'll get to and talk about in a little bit. But just the tone of her voice, even her face changed from the beginning until the end. This is how you know that your session worked. This is exactly why we need to ask, because yes, she did pass the first part of the test, which is, yes, I'm going to put it in the container. So instead of stuffing her face and overeating like she did before, she's now going to either offer it to her husband or put it in the container, which shows us that the problem that was there at the beginning has completely changed. And now she has the ability to problem solve. And so at the end there, she did mention that there was still a bit of hesitation with throwing it in the bin. But she was still then able to say, okay, well, I'll put it in the container first, which eventually will be in the bin, which is better than I was before. And really, isn't this our only job as coaches and hypnotists, right? Our only job is to help a client have a new choice. That is therapy one-to-one, right? And this is the breakthrough of it. And because we use hypnotic questioning, we're fully confident that Deb in the background is going to process the completely unrelated root cause to food moving forward. And she did, because the next day when we talked to her, she was like, I was bouncing off the walls after that session. So even afterwards, she had a great glow and great effect afterwards. And what I'm going to talk about now is that hesitation at the end where she was like, oh, I don't know if it can still go to the bin. And she went off in a trance again, because there was still something there that the unconscious mind hasn't fully finished processing. This is why we test. Most hypnotherapy and NLP sessions will just end even before that testing question. Like they'll just go, hey, bye, see you later. And then the client hasn't been tested, goes out in the real world. She has dinner with her husband the next day and still will overeat because we haven't tested. That is the work, the beautiful work you've done, gone to waste. This is why we test. All right. So she went into a trance again. And then this happens very, very frequently. Our clients go in and out of trance, especially during the testing phase, because this is how we know that the unconscious mind still has work to do and we have more work to do, or if we're free, ready to go and send our clients completely happy and ecstatic. But with this particular instance, there was still some stuff there that needed to be processed, and she went back into her own trance, solved more of her problem, and then this is what happened when she came out.
So what's happening now?
Good. I feel quite light at the moment. Quite excited, free. Yeah, some crazy ass connections being made. It has. It's always been there. It's just now it's so clear. Yeah.
So if someone were to say, "Are you done with that? Can I take that?"
It's damn straight.
Yeah.
Oh, go for it. Just go for it. Yeah.
What if you knew they were just going to throw it in the bin?
Good.
That's okay.
Mm.
You can. I'm done with it. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
As you can see, big, 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 big change with her from beginning to end. At the end, Stephen even brilliantly asked, okay, so like, what if they were going to throw the food in the bin if you were out for dinner? And she was like, go ahead and take it, and was laughing afterwards. This is the true power of hypnotic questioning. This is what she did when she just said, yeah, sure, take it. Like, it doesn't even matter. It is a completely different person answering those questions from the beginning till end. And this was only half an hour worth of work. And this is the true power of allowing our clients to truly find their answers just by asking questions. And also, you can see how she was laughing at the end. She was like, haha, just take it, right? Like, she was very giddy, very happy, very excited, very free. She said that within the session. And this is truly powerful. And in the hypnotic questioning world, we call this a resource, right? Right before, at the very beginning, she was like, no, certainly not going to go through bin. Like, that was her attitude towards it. And now she is laughing about it. There was tons of laughter throughout the session. And her in for Deb at that particular moment in time during that session, her resource was to just laugh about it, which is completely, completely fun. And this is why hypnotic questionings are so much fun too, because she found a resource which was just to laugh about it, right? Some people completely cry at their eyes out, but for her, she just laughed. And as the coach and hypnotherapist, we cannot judge what our clients do, right? And so this is for her very contextual based. At this moment in time, she needed to process through laughter. And from the start to the beginning, she was able to go from, yes, I'm just going to stuff myself, even though I'm full, to now saying, yep, I am good to go. And this actually, if you actually saw the middle, the full session, this had, again, nothing to do with eating food. She even mentioned it. She was like, this is way more than the mud cake or whatever she mentioned that she wanted to eat. This goes more than that. This is the power, again, of just asking questions. And hopefully with this video, you saw how truly important hypnotic testing is just by answering that one or asking that question of what are you going to do moving forward with regards to the initial symptom situation, she was then able to problem solve and then reveal newer resistance or things that still needed to be processed, so that at the end she came out to have this wonderful transformation of just laughter, freedom, and lightness. A great, great, great gift to give our clients, a great way to increase the value of our sessions, great way to end our sessions. You can see how fun it was. Everyone was laughing. It was very lighthearted. And leaving your sessions in this note, can you imagine how much impact that is with your clients moving forward? Not only are they happy that they made tremendous progress in your very first session, but also for you, you've got peace of mind that you sent the client away after your sessions a completely different human being, not just a symptom. I got rid of my overeating problem, but something that is next level, higher and deeper and more transformational. And so I hope that this mini training helped. This is hypnotic testing is, like I said, one of the very, very most important constituents of the hypnotic testing process. You want to be able to learn how to ask your questions, and you also want to be able to learn to decipher what is conscious versus unconscious information, which was present here in the middle. These three things constitute an amazing transformation like this. So if you'd like to learn more, let me know, and I will send you information for learning this method that will completely transform your hypnosis practice and your own personal life. So I'll see you next time. Let's make a massive impact together, one question and conversation at a time.